Welcome students again into the 12th science chemistry class. Now today we are going to learn chapter number 2, that is the second chapter, solutions. We are familiar about this solution, that is the true solution into the 11th standard. Because in 11th standard in adsorption and colloids we learn about the mixtures. Mixtures are two types, that are the colloidal mixtures and the true solutions. And this classification is done on the basis of the particles of that solute and solvent. Now you know that the mixtures are homogeneous mixtures as well as heterogeneous mixture. In heterogeneous mixture, the solute and solvents are not homogeneous or uniform. And in homogeneous mixture, the solute and solvents, when form the solution, it is homogeneous or it is uniform. But in this chapter, we have to learn only about the true solutions, that are very homogeneous true solutions in which the solute particles are not seen into that solution by naked eyes. Now, what is this solution? Now see the definition of the solution. The solution is a homogeneous mixture. Definitely it is the homogeneous mixture of two or more pure substances. The substances must be pure. Homogeneous solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more pure substances. And this homogeneous solution is uniform there. That means the solute and solvents are mixed together uniformly. So, solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more pure substances. Now, a true solution consists of a solvent and two or more solute. Into the true solution, there is one part which is maximum proportion, that is the solvent, and two or more solute may be present into that. But in this chapter, we only explore the properties of binary true solutions. What is binary true solution? That means in binary true solution, there is only one solute and the solvent. So, we only explore the properties, we have to learn the properties in this chapter of only the binary solutions. So, we only explore the properties of binary solutions containing one solute and one solvent. Now, according to that, there are the types of solution. Totally, there are 9 types of solution. We generally think that what are types of solution? One solute, we are learning here only the binary solution now. Now these solutions, we always, our concept is that one solute and one solvent. That is, the solute may be solid and solvent is the liquid. But according to the 3 states of the matter, that is solid, liquid and gas, the solutions are classified into 9 different types. Now see here, the solute and solvent may be in any of the 3 states, solid, liquid and gas. This gives rise to 9 types of solutions. There are the 9 types of solution. Our focus in this chapter may be only on the solution of solid in liquid. Though there are the 9 types of solution, but our focus in this chapter we have to study in details the solution of, that is the solid in liquid. Now see on the blackboard, there are the 9 different types of the solutions and their examples are also given on the blackboard. Now see that 9 different types of solutions. Now according to that is the state of matter, solid, liquid and gas, we classify these, that is the solution, into 9 different classes. Now see here this chart. Now this is the number state of solute. here is given. Here state of solvent is given, and here are the some examples of that solution. Now see here, first type is the state of solid is solid and state of solvent is liquid. That is solid in liquid type of solution. So which is the general solution, solid in liquid. Now examples are the sea water, because in sea water there are so many minerals and salts, they are dissolved in water. So sea water is the example of solid in liquid. Again the benzoic acid in benzene. Benzoic acid is in the solid state and benzene is in the liquid state. So benzoic acid in benzene is also the example of solid in liquid. Again sugar in water. We know this solution, sugar is in the solid state. When dissolved into the water, the solution becomes, and it is the example of solid in liquid, that is the sugar in water. Now second type of solution is the solute is solid and solvent is also solid, that is solid in solid. Now how it is possible? But in the alloys, we know that alloys are the mixture of two or more metals. Now in the alloys, that is the metal alloys such as brass and bronze. Now in brass there is the zinc and the copper, and in bronze also there is the different types of their metals in the proportion. That is the bronze metal, you know that into that. Now in this way brass and bronze, now these are the solid in solid type of solutions. Now third one is the solid in gas. Now how it is possible? Solid in gas, that means solid solute and gas solvent. Now the best example is the iodine in water. That is the which are iodine. Iodine is when we kept in the air, it directly convert from solid into the gas. That means this iodine when present in air, then it becomes the example of solid in gas. And we know that what is that called? That is such as camphor, iodine. All these are the substances. Now all these that is the camphor such as iodine, naphthalene. These are the substances which when kept openly, they are directly convert from solid into the gas. And such, that is the camphor in air is also the example of solid in gas type. Now next one, that is the liquid, now solute, and here liquid is solvent, that is liquid in liquid. The best example is the gasoline. In gasoline there is the petrol, diesel, different liquids are there. So it is the example of gasoline is the example of liquid in liquid. Ethanol in water, we know that ethanol dissolved into the water and homogeneous mixture is formed. So ethanol in water is also the example of liquid in liquid. Next is the liquid in solid. That is the liquid is solute and solid is solvent. So liquid in solid type of examples are the amalgams of mercury with metals. We know that this mercury is in the liquid form. Though mercury is metal, but it is in the liquid form. So the amalgams of mercury with different metals such as silver amalgam, sodium amalgam. That means as a silver, mercury in silver is the example of silver amalgam. So amalgams of the mercury with metals is the best example of liquid in solid. Now next one is the liquid in gas. Liquid in small proportion, that is solute, and gas in large proportion, that is the solvent. So liquid in gas. Now chloroform is in the liquid state, but when we kept it, it is volatile liquid, and it directly without heating it convert from liquid into the gas because it is the volatile liquid. So liquid in gas, that is the chloroform in nitrogen or chloroform in air. This is also the example of liquid in gas type, chloroform in nitrogen or chloroform in air, that is the volatile liquids in the air. Now next, that is the this gas is a solute now and liquid is solvent. So gas in liquid, liquid is in the large proportion and gas is in the small proportion. So that is best example is the carbonated water or carbonated drinks. You know that carbonated Coca-Cola or Thumbs Up. When we open that is the lid, the air that is the carbon dioxide comes rushly to the outside, and that is the carbonated drinks or carbonated water. Into that CO2 is in the water or CO2 is in present that is in the dissolved state into the carbonated liquids. So carbonated water, that is the CO2 gas in water, again the oxygen in water. We know that that is the aquatic animals, they always inhale the dissolved oxygen into the water. So water is also dissolved into the oxygen is also dissolved into the water, and this is the example of gas in liquid type. Now next one is the gas in solid. Gas in small proportion and solid in large proportion. That is gas is solid and solid is solvent. And the best example is the hydrogen in palladium. We know the adsorption process, and we know that this platinum, palladium, nickel, raney nickel, they adsorb the different gases on their surface. Especially platinum, palladium, nickel, they adsorb the hydrogen gas and they enhance the rate of the reaction with that of the hydrogen. So for hydrogenation we use these as the catalyst. The metals such as platinum, palladium, nickel, raney nickel, and hydrogen in palladium is the example of gas in solid type of the solution. The last type of the solution is gas in gas. Both are gases, solid and solvent. So air is the good example of gas in gas, because in air there is oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapors, again the inert gases such as argon and other gases are mixed in the air, and air is the homogeneous mixture of all these gases. So air is the example of gas in gas type of the solution. Now these are the about the 9 different types of solution, but we have to study the properties of the solid in liquid type of solution, that is the binary solution, in which solute is into the solid form and solvent is into the liquid form. Now let us learn the next topic. Now pay attention students on the blackboard. Now capacity of the solution to dissolve the solute. Now there is the always capacity or limit of the solution to dissolve the solute. At first when we add the solute into the solvent, what happened? The solute dissolve readily, very fastly into the solvent, and there is formation of solution. If we added more solute into that, even then it is also dissolved into that solvent. But when we add more and more solute into that solution, the rate of dissolution slows down, and one stage or an equilibrium state is there, is always attained when we add the solute into that solution. The solute particles cannot be dissolved then such solution is called as the saturated solution. But if we add the solute into that solution more and more, then there is the particles of solutes are there, the crystals of solutes are there, remains as it is. Now such solution is called as the supersaturated solution, and from that supersaturated solution, if we add some tiny crystals of solute into that, so many crystals of solute get precipitated out from that, and only the saturated solution remains. Now in this way there is always the capacity of the that is the solution to dissolve the solute. Now see here, when solute is added into the solvent, it dissolves readily at first. It dissolves readily at first. When solute is added to the solvent, it dissolves readily at first. The Then what happen? If we continue the addition of solute, the dissolution stops. The solution at this point, when addition of the solute into the solution is still, when the dissolution gets stopped, then the solution at this point is said to be saturated solution. Remember that when we add or continue the dissolution of solute into that solution, and one stage is there when the dissolution of solute gets stopped. At that point, the solution is said to be saturated solution. A dynamic equilibrium can be reached. Then the dynamic equilibrium can be reached. How it is? Where the number of solute molecule leaving the crystal to pass into the solution is equal to the number of returning from the solution to the crystal. That means a dynamic equilibrium is always attained there where the solute particles dissolve into the solution, and at the same time same number of solute particles get crystallized out. That means a dynamic equilibrium can be reached where the number of solute molecule leaving the crystal means they dissolve into they pass into the solution is equal to the number of returning from the solution to the crystal. That means when the number of dissolution of the solute particles, dissolution of the crystals into the solution is equal to the number of solute crystals which are formed again from that solution. That means they return from the solution in the crystal form. When these both processes are equal, then that dynamic equilibrium is there attained. And in this way, see again, the dynamic equilibrium is there in the dissolution and crystallization. Now how it is? Now let us see. When solute add into the solvent, it gets first dissolved to give the solution. And if we continue the addition, then the solution into that the solute particle get crystallized out. And again there is the solute and solvent in this type of, that is the equilibrium is formed. Now a saturated solution which stops the addition of the solute. Further, that saturated solution contains maximum amount of solute dissolved in a given amount of solvent at a given temperature. What is the saturated solution? What is the definition of saturated solution then? A saturated solution contains maximum amount of solute dissolved in the given amount of solvent at a given temperature. Maximum amount of solute dissolved in the given amount of solvent at the given temperature is called as the saturated solution. So the solution contains maximum amount of the solute dissolved in the given amount of the solvent at given temperature is called as the saturated solution. Now next, that is the solution containing greater than equilibrium amount of solute is said to be supersaturated solution. Equilibrium amount of solute means the saturated solution which contain the equilibrium amount of solute. But if the solution which contain more than equilibrium amount of solute, such solution is called as the saturated solution. So a solution containing greater than the equilibrium amount of solute is called as the supersaturated solution. What is supersaturated solution? When the solution contains greater than equilibrium amount of the solute, such solution is called as the supersaturated solution. Now, such solutions are unstable because if we add tiny crystals of solute again into that supersaturated solution, all the crystals of the solute get precipitated out, and therefore this supersaturated solution is always unstable. Such solutions are unstable. The precipitation occurs from such solution. The precipitation occurs by addition of tiny crystal to this supersaturated solution, and the supersaturated solution changes into the saturated solution. After precipitation, again the supersaturated solution converts into the or changes into the saturated solution. Now what is solubility? This is very important concept, solubility. Solubility of the solute is its amount per unit volume of saturated solution. Solubility of the solute is nothing but it is its amount per unit volume of saturated. How many gram of the solute is dissolved or present per unit volume of the saturated solution is called as the solubility. Now therefore solubility of the solute is the amount per unit volume of saturated solution at a specific temperature. The amount of the solute present per unit volume of the saturated solution at a specific temperature is called its solubility. The solubility of solute is its maximum concentration. Always the solubility of the solute is its maximum concentration in the given amount of the solvent. So the solubility of the solute is the maximum concentration and its unit is moles per liter. What is the unit of solubility? Moles per liter. It may be grams per liter also, but the SI unit, that is the moles per liter about the solubility. So solubility is the amount of the solute present in the given amount of or given volume of the saturated solution at a specific temperature. Now students, this is about the types of the solution, what are true solution, and what are the examples of types of solution, and again what are the saturated solution, supersaturated solution, what is precipitation, and all this, that is the about the solubility, definition of solubility. If you understand all this concept very well, then students, you can like, subscribe and share this video to the another students so that they also have the benefit to understand this concept. Now in the next that is the lecture, we will learn about the that is the different types of the factors affecting the solubility of the solute into that of the solution. Now thank you for watching this video. Thank you.